for the love, I did it for the people, I did it for us.
Back on this rap ish, I ain't even broke a sweat, homie, this practice. Pondering my next move, staring at my track list, hope I ain't miss my window. Praying like a Baptist, Seattle's own. Tired of this Game of Thrones. They made a list of the best rappers, and guess who wasn't on? While the disrespect continues, I'm steady packing these venues. Guess if you ain't at the table, you on the menu. And I'm that spitter, baby. They don't want you to see, but everybody south of Capitol Hill's rocking with me. Boys smoke the trays and plan to getting their life together. I'm comfortable with my role, so I'm like, whatever. I ain't got a job, but I work hard. And you don't work hard, but you got a job. The irony is I'm judged while you feel the applause. I'm slept on, that's why I had to set this alarm. My dudes is armed, I'm armed with this arm charm. Body banging like she got that cream from Barry Bonds. Yeah.
I did it for the city, I did it for the love, I did it for the people, I did it for us.
X-ray season is here, a real hitter with a mic, I'm everything that they fear. With that hood ain't the same, I was all on their ass, I'm level-headed. So yo, my dudes love when I spaz, and I'm so over Seattle's passive-aggressive attitude. They don't call you back, what they really saying is F you. While I'm from the same place, I move at a different pace. I prefer if you just said it to my face, damn, I did it.
I did it for the city, I did it for the love, I did it for the people, I did it for us.
Average dudes with they average spit, writing average rhymes, knocking average chicks. The closer I get, I can feel the people starting to shift. I'm loyal to a fault, and everybody can't come with. Rap's a rich man's game, I'm only playing with change. They bang models and singers, I'm knocking my own flame, I'm different. The crowd, I move with the chosen few. Black thoughts, I could be the front man for the roots. No diamonds and gold, I'm on my sticks and stones. If we can see your panty line, you should have on a thong. My team is strong, through this fire we forged a bond. And they already know what it is when I get on to the hearse. Party like it's December 31st. When I'm on my deathbed, I probably cracking my nurse. You ain't got the bars to compete. I'm a verbal athlete, deflating these boys so they say that I cheat. Damn, I did it.
I did it for the city, I did it for the love, I did it for the people, I did it for us.
Yeah. I should probably start by apologizing for the long wait, man. You know, I know I be tripping. But I'm not just a rapper, I'm an artist. And, you know, my creative process is a little bit different than most. Nonetheless, I want to welcome everybody out to the Dre's Experience. I got TCF in the building, my whole camp's here with me. I got the band in here laying this cool-ass vibe. And I'm Seattle's own. Let's get into it.
Grand Rising and good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Morning Update Show. I'm your co-host, Trey Holiday. And of course, we have another great show for you on this terrific Tuesday. Get so excited when I get to do this with my guy, co-host with the most, Big O. What's up, Big O?
Trey Holiday, what's happening? Happy Tuesday to you.
Hey, happy Tuesday, my friend. How are you today?
Man, I'm good. You see, I'm all smiles these days. You know, as much as I love being in that Black Media Matters studio, like, man, the road has been good to me. I was in Houston last night. Today I'm in San Antonio here for a few days. I'm going to Atlanta. My daughter Akeja's birthday is Thursday in Atlanta. Then I'm going to Tuskegee, Alabama this weekend. My niece Isis, her graduation from Tuskegee University. So yeah, you know, I'm doing all right.
Hey, look, moving and grooving down there. Oh, well, we definitely miss you over here, but happy to see that smiling face of yours over there in some, it looks like sunlight. You know, we ain't got that over here right now.
Y'all ain't seen me smile this much in a long time. And let me show you real quick before we jump into it. The one big reason I was smiling, this is last night there in Houston, Texas. That's at Minute Maid Park. And man, me and Victoria, she's an Astros fan. We working on that. I said I'm gonna use some of my Soto mojo and convert her over to be a Mariners fan. But we had such a great time last night. Unfortunately, the Mariners couldn't pull off a victory against the Astros. But man, fun time in Houston.
Hey, you know what? That's what it's all about. You know, the memories and, you know, having a great time. Looks like y'all were definitely all smiles at the ballpark. Glad you enjoyed it, oh.
Yeah, no, for sure. And before we get going here, I know it's a great show. This lined up here today. You know, we have been talking about it a few days. Man, I gotta tell you, we were saying here in the pre-show that Norman Garrett. It's like this guy's Norman Garrett fashion. And the photo, you can tell like the sort of swag is there. Norman Garrett, opera singer, part with the Seattle Opera, and the opera is The Marriage of Figaro. And then we've also got the legend, man, Vivian Phillips in the building. And it was crazy because they had sent over a title and for the on-screen graphics, it said MC. And I was thinking to myself, I'm like, there's so many titles for Vivian Phillips, but
Yeah.
yeah, right. She's gonna be in here today talking about STG Doors, which we're a partner with STG, and that's their annual fundraiser.
Yeah, looking forward to diving in with both of them today. And you know what? Really excited about the event, the doors. I'm telling you, I'm like, yes,
Mm.
we're going to be in the building. Converge is going to be strong.
Hello, and tell them also why. I know you're excited because we want to be good partners with STG, and we want to do all these things. It's gonna be a great event. But why else are you excited?
I gotta be honest, come on, Smokey Robinson's gonna be in the building.
Hello.
I'm like, come on, man. The silky voice of Smokey Robinson. I'm excited, man, for real, all around.
Good stuff. Good stuff. We'll talk about that. And yeah, I mean, we have Marriage of Figaro. Are
Marriage
you
of
on?
Figaro. Yeah, I am actually. Yeah, they just reached out. I'm definitely going to be making some time on my schedule. I was just telling Norman, I said, man, I got to come and see because already, he got a smooth talking voice. So,
Yeah.
the singing is
I,
all on point.
I've only been to one opera, and it was blue. It
Right.
was a dope opera experience. So you know what I'm saying. I'm ready to go back. But we got a bunch of stuff this morning. Let me hop right into it. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Morning Update Show. Want to remind you, right now is the perfect time to tag and share the stream. Go ahead and tag and share this stream with people you feel would appreciate culturally relevant news and information emanating from up there in the Pacific Northwest. I want to give a big shout out, excuse me, to our partners at KBCS 91.3 over at Bellevue College and also the South Seattle Emerald. Reminding everybody that you can listen to the Morning Update Show anywhere that you listen to any of your favorite podcasts. That's SoundCloud, Spotify, iTunes, Google. All you have to do is search Converge Media Network. Man, continue to bring awareness around this. And they were saying it's going to be another variant. I think COVID's just going to be around for a long time.
Yeah.
I don't know. But I do know that we have some resources for community members, especially those who might be vaccine hesitant and have questions and concerns around the vaccine and COVID testing altogether. Want to leave a lot of space and grace, but also provide information here for us, wa.org. And it's a pretty good resource, huh, Trey?
Yeah, it really is. And you're absolutely right. I mean, it looks like it's here to stay. We're trying to find ways to I think adjust all of us to just be used to it because originally a lot of folks were like, oh, to be here for a while. Here we are, 2 years later, it's here to stay. And I think it is important for all of us to be informed. Here for us, wa.org will help do that.
When we started the Morning Update Show, the president at the time said it was going to be gone by Easter. We thought that this was just going to be a pop-up show for 6 weeks. We're like, man, we can do this for 6 weeks. You know what?
Right, exactly.
Hey, so somewhat breaking news. It didn't really breaking, but because we knew it was coming, but we just didn't know who. But man, looks like we got a new sheriff in town, literally. Executive Constantine appoints Patty Cole Tyndall as King County Sheriff. Says here, following a nationwide search and thorough interview and public engagement process, Executive Constantine announced today his appointment of Patty Cole Tyndall to serve as King County Sheriff. Cole Tyndall has a background in law enforcement, labor relations, human resources, as well as service to the community. She joined the King County Sheriff's Office in October 2015, serving as the Chief of Technical Services Division for almost 5 years before being appointed to Under Sheriff in 2020. She was appointed interim sheriff in November 2021 and began serving her new role in January. So we've got a new sheriff coming in, and actually Sheriff Cole Tyndall will be joining us live tomorrow on the Morning Update Show. Me for sure, I got a lot of questions.
Oh, I definitely do. I mean, but it's great to hear that, she also has a background in community. I think that that's important for any sheriff to really bring about, a holistic approach to how they're going to tackle this role. I mean, we really do need somebody who has that understanding. And I'm really excited. I mean, another Black woman here, high position of power, at King County Sheriff. This is really exciting news, oh.
Yeah, but so here's the thing is, and this is what people need to keep in mind, is that, there's a lot of people, even in Chief Best's command staff, that wasn't okay seeing that Black woman be the chief of police of the city of Seattle. Yeah. And she spent 26 years in that department. And when she got to the office of chief, a lot of saboteurs within that department showed we saw that. Look at the Proud Boy hoax. Yeah. The emergency operations center was full blast because there's supposed to be Proud Boys on the way. Lisa Herbold calls the chief like, "Hey, chief, we hear there's some Proud Boys coming." Chief's like, "Oh no, I don't know anything about it." But at the same time, her emergency operations center is over there working on a hoax about some fake Proud Boys that never work. That's just one example of what I'm saying. How Chief Best, who also authorized the tear gas. Let's be clear, this is the same woman, the same chief who authorized the tear gas and the extreme police violence like this city's never seen. So that I can put that issue right here. But internally, let's be clear. Chief Best was sitting there, man. There's a lot of saboteurs that she had around here. And the thing is, she was in that department for 26 years. This Cole Tyndall, the new incoming sheriff, she's been present. Tommy Lay, what's happening? You know what I'm saying? That happened there on the, it's within the last 5 years, man. The sheriff's office has been a lot of issues over there. So, I mean, on a lot of different levels. One, I want to know how this incoming sheriff is literally, especially being this Black woman, is going to deal with a sheriff's office and systemic issues that have preceded her and, and highly tenured deputies. Some of them been there 20, 25 years and everything else. Because we see Chief Best couldn't overcome that in SPD.
You're so right. And it's a great point to make. Oh, this is exactly why I think there's so many lessons to learn from Chief Best being in the position she was in. This is exactly what I think, now Sheriff Cole Tyndall is going to have to be taking into consideration as she takes this role. And I'm sure that, because those things have played out real publicly, as you just described, I'm sure that there's got to be some understanding of how are you going to wrangle the force to really be underneath you and to take your leadership and to take your guidance. That's going to be key to this.
Yeah, and with anything, man, it's the command staff, and we're gonna see, who the new sheriff is rolling with, because if it's the same old people, man, very well. I mean, I'm always optimistic, by the way, and I'm always hoping for. That's why I want to put this question out there. I'm sure that she's thought about it, but I want to reinforce it. How are you going to deal with the people within the King County Sheriff's Office in the King County, the office of King County, who do not want to see you, Black woman, be the sheriff of Martin Luther King County? Number one, Absolutely. Let's start, even before you talk about hitting the streets and programs and community and all this kind of stuff, but anyways, clearly I'm ready for tomorrow.
Clearly.
We gonna have to go. All right, so man, jumping into the big national story here, man. We got a clip from CBS this morning. Of course, the big news is, man, this leaked memo coming out of the Supreme Court about Roe versus Wade.
The Supreme Court, where hundreds of protesters gathered last night after the stunning leak of what is reportedly a draft opinion suggesting the court will strike down Roe v. Wade this summer. Many experts have predicted the court will roll back abortion rights after conservatives gained a 6-3 majority on the court. It's a strongly worded draft opinion signed by Justice Samuel Alito and obtained by Politico. The Supreme Court has not confirmed the authenticity of the document, and we must point out a lot can change before a final ruling is issued. For more on all of it, let's go to Jan Crawford. She's outside the Supreme Court. Jan, this would be an astonishing leak and a landmark decision. Good morning to you.
Good morning, Tony, and you're exactly right. An unprecedented leap from the Supreme Court, something that didn't even happen when the presidency was on the line in Bush versus Gore. And in the states, the implications for an overturning of Roe versus Wade are massive. Many of them, those states, already have been preparing for that.
The news set off late-night protests from both sides at the Supreme Court.
America doesn't want to overturn Roe v. Wade, that there is support to maintain it.
The reversal of Roe v. Wade is good, and it will save lives, and that is good, and they should keep going forward with the majority opinion.
The leaked Supreme Court draft opinion shows the conservative majority voted to strike down Roe v. Wade, the 1973 landmark decision guaranteeing abortion rights. The 98-page draft opinion from February was obtained by Politico from a person familiar with the court's proceedings in a Mississippi law banning abortion after 15 weeks. Writing for the majority, Justice Samuel Alito wrote, "Roe was egregiously wrong from the start. It is time to heed the Constitution and return the issue of abortion to the people's elected representatives." 4 other conservative justices reportedly also had voted to overturn Roe in the Mississippi case. It's unclear whether Chief Justice John Roberts would have allowed the Mississippi law to stand without overturning Roe, or whether he joined the liberals. Also unclear whether the early draft opinion will become the final decision, sending the issue of abortion back to the states. Hands off my body! Right now, 13 states have laws banning all or nearly all abortions that would be triggered if Roe were overturned. The CEO of Planned Parenthood said, "Abortion is currently still legal, and we will continue to fight like hell to protect the right to access safe, legal abortion." But the leak of a draft opinion sent shockwaves throughout the legal community and beyond.
This has never happened before. It's a tremendously big deal for the court, and its significance for the court's legitimacy is impossible to overstate.
Jeff Rosen is the president and CEO of the National Constitution Center.
The court takes its secrecy incredibly seriously. The justices will investigate this leak vigorously and try to find out who the leaker was.
Now, early drafts of decisions, they often change quite a bit, and justices in the past have actually switched their votes. It is unlikely that that's going to happen in this case. However, a decision is expected sooner rather than later, well before the end of the court's term at the end of June.
Trey Holiday.
Whoa. I mean, this is really huge. I mean, you're talking about unprecedented levels, in terms of this leak, but also this is something obviously already striking the people in a real big way. Oh, I mean, you're talking about a situation and an issue that has been polarizing for our nation ever since its inception, honestly. And the thing is that I cannot even imagine the outfall really outside of this. If this is to take place, I'm telling you right now, I can only imagine the amount of people that will be in unsafe situations, still not wanting to have a child at a certain time. There's a wide variety of reasons why. We all know this. We've talked about this for a very long time in this country. But really, I'm thinking about the safety of those would-be mothers who have to make that decision and have to be forced to now maybe do something that could be more harmful to them than anything. This is a lot. Oh,
Yeah. And so what would happen here, if this is correct, is that it isn't that abortion would be not legal in the U.S. It would just go back to the states. So in a lot of states, we've already seen there's 13 states that already have what's called trigger laws that are waiting, that if this happens, then, that abortion would basically be banned for the most part. And then there's a lot of other states with other variations. And of course, people who probably be impacted the most by this, women that would be impacted the most by this, or in areas down south, the Midwest, and poor women and women of color. So, I mean, there's a lot more to come from this in development. But this is something that where the Democrats have been kind of looking weak going into these midterm elections. This is now a galvanizing issue that very well might bring people not only to the streets, but also to the polls.
yeah, absolutely. And this is why we talk about votes being so important. Unfortunately, there wasn't enough momentum to stop these trigger laws from even being there and just kind of sitting and waiting for this. And it makes me wonder, well, what kind of backdoor conversations and deals are happening? Because clearly these 13 states probably band together to ensure that this was now going to be something that the Supreme Court could even make an opinion on. This is going to be interesting to see how this unfolds.
Right. I'll say this is that the right has been working on this issue for decades, and this is something that the left has really taken for granted. These guys on a local level. So I mean, that's the thing is like,
Yeah.
you know, from state legislatures and everything else, man. Like they've been working on this for decades, and you know we're kind of seeing the result of what's happening right now. And yeah, we see the erosion of rights. Hey, two more things here before I cut you loose, because you got two great interviews lined up. Man, today is Give Big. And you know, yeah. And so I thought that we would do this, is that we would talk about organizations that we support and really want to encourage our viewers to support. And fortunately, because we really be in community, we really be whatever. So at Converge, we don't have to make something on Canva or some little graphic that says, please do this and that. We really actually covered these organizations here. And of course, you know, if you can't tell, I'm always on my baseball stuff and everything else. For me, it's Baseball Beyond Borders. And I actually got a video from right here from opening day. Some of you guys have saw this before. Opening day there at T-Mobile Park, where Boogie Gates was honored as the Seattle Mariners' very first hometown All-Star, him and Baseball Beyond Borders.
So we're at opening day, Jackie Robinson Day here, Seattle Mariners, T-Mobile Park, celebrating the life, the legacy of the one that came before us, and Jackie Robinson, who paved the way for African Americans to participate in the game of baseball, at least open the door. This is a momentous occasion as we celebrate Jackie's arrival, right, to Major League Baseball 75 years ago. But it also came at an expense, right? It came at the expense of Negro Leagues beginning to be dismantled because all the talent was siphoned, right, to play Major League Baseball. So while it was a great opportunity, it took away the ecosystem that was created for African Americans down south when we had the Negro Leagues. And eventually, we're now trying to really find a way to increase that access to African Americans in baseball.
During its on now, please welcome tonight's hometown all-star, Boogie Gates.
So today is a special day for the organization Baseball Beyond Borders, as myself is being honored as a hometown all-star. It's an inaugural award that the Seattle Mariners Community Relations Department is putting forth. So I'm excited, humbled by the opportunity, but recognize that it's an opportunity to open up the doors and continue to spread the word around the equitable access that's required for African Americans to participate in the sport of baseball. So the partnership with the Seattle Mariners has been vital, right? It's been an opportunity to really promote the game of baseball and softball to communities of color, particularly African Americans. They've been able to leverage their platform, utilizing our community platform, and working collectively as a unit to really promote the game, right? Getting their baseball players, those of African American descent, to be a part of it. And I think just continues to tell the story to preserve the cultural legacy of blacks in baseball. I want people to know that Baseball Beyond Borders is a community-based organization, right? Really trying to strive to create access and opportunity for student athletes to explore their potential. You know, we want to give them the tools and the skills needed to be able to use baseball as a framework for developing their life skills. Visit us on our website, baseballbeyond.org. You can visit us on social media platforms at BBB Inner City, and we look forward to seeing you at a ballpark soon.
Yep, Baseball Beyond Borders right there. It's on mine. If you could go ahead and put that link in the comments, man. And, you know, really, you know, we've been on the journey with these young men and young women as well, because there's softball as well. And, you know, last year they went to the RBI World Series down in Florida, which was pretty amazing right there. So, you know what I'm saying? If you're in the giving mood, I'm throwing out Baseball Beyond Borders. Who you got for us, Trey?
Oh, I love that story of Baseball Beyond Borders. And, hey, we have another local hometown hero, I believe, when it comes to disrupting gentrification. It's going to be Africatown Community Land Trust for me. We were just there at the groundbreaking of Africatown Plaza. So, of course, as you say, we've been on the streets, been in the community. We get to give them a shout out as well on this Big Give Tuesday.
We're here for land ownership. We want to build something that lasts longer than any one of ourselves. We want to build something that we can pass on to our children and our children's children so that they can share in the prosperity of this booming region, so they can share in the economy of Martin Luther King County. Because we all know that today is about more than the individuals and the families who are going to find an affordable home in this building. Today is about more than the artists who are going to be able to celebrate and enshrine Black culture in this space. Today is about more than the small businesses who are going to open on this block and generate Black wealth for generations. Today is about something bigger. Today is about a movement. Today is about a movement to create a new normal. Today is about community ownership. Today is about deepening our roots in the historic epicenter of Seattle's Black community.
Ring with the harmonies of liberty.
I think this moment just signifies what's possible. When we have a thought, we come together around that thought, and then we take that and rally and push it forward to make it real. I think that's what it represents, possibility, that a different future is possible. A lot of times it looks very bleak, but hopefully this is just, a small light, a small candle. And if we keep lighting candles and then put our candles together, we can create a different situation.
If you do things without those who have sacrificed for you, then they will remind you of where you come from and whose you are. So if you find yourself challenged, you may want to think about those who fed you before you could feed yourself.
We're breaking ground on Africatown Plaza. It's 140 years since, 1882 when William Gross bought the 12 acres from Henry Yesler and made this a Black community. So we're continuing all that legacy of making space for the Black community to be able to grow and thrive. It's been a long journey. This is just another step in the marathon, but we definitely want to pick up the pace.
With community, we know that the abundance will be given to all. And that's what I think of with what is today.
It's going to be something like nothing you've ever seen in this, in this area, right? It's not going to look like all of the Lego blocks that's been coming. It's 126 units, 7 stories over commercial and community space. The art, we have Black artists from right here, genius from across the country and across the world that are contributing to telling the story of our unique journey and making this a place where people can come back and connect.
Money ain't right, money ain't tight. The cost of living is the need for money in this life. Humanity and darkness and humanity. Scared to doubt the word and doubt the work to believe.
As Frederick Douglass, our ancestors, said, we might not get everything we fight for, but we're going to fight for everything we get. And we're definitely not waving a white flag, because if our ancestors waved the white flag, we wouldn't be able to be here today. So in honoring our great Black history, our charge is to make our history count, and we're looking at this as another contribution, in our journey towards realizing our greatness.
Amazing. Africatown Community Land Trust doing great work. Salman is also putting the link in the comments there. So you guys feel free to give big today.
Yeah, man, come on, give it up, give it up. Hey, looks like we've gone overtime in this segment right here, and I cut you short yesterday, Trey. You were talking. It was here goes our outro. So I'll say this: I'm gonna get out of here, man, and wishing you, and I know they're gonna be fantastic, great interviews there with Norman Garrett and with Vivian Phillips. And man,
Absolutely.
I'll catch up with you tomorrow from the great state of Texas.
Absolutely. Have great, safe travels. We'll be with you tomorrow. And with that, you guys, coming up after this short break, we have Norman Garrett in the building. We're going to be talking about his opera singing career and the marriage of Figaro. Right after this, stay tuned. You're watching the Morning Update Show.
As a non-binary Black femme, a lot of my identity is rooted in body. Once the vaccine was introduced, it was really difficult to think in terms of safety as well as autonomy. As a Black American, the relationship with government is very complicated. It's hard to trust. A lot of these conspiracies are really impacting people making a decision, especially with Black folks, to be clear about what we're doing. I think it's just a well-rounded conversation to see what's best for us.
Hey there, it's Trey Holiday. And of course, Besa and I had to take a trip back to Market Street Shoes to grab some items. They always know what to show us. And let me tell you, we both spent quality time to be sure we collected some amazing additions to our wardrobes. They have some of the most unique bags, shoes, and accessories. I mean, the whole shebang. It's always a good time when I get to shop with my girl Besa. Make sure you go check out Market Street Shoes, y'all, and you too can walk out with some dope gear.
The breathtaking new musical, Afterwards, is the story of the art we make from the love that shapes us. When three women discover unexpected truths, a dazzling mosaic of intersecting lives reveals itself. Featuring a revelatory and soulful new score. Don't miss the world premiere of this captivating new musical, Afterwards, at the Fifth Avenue Theater, April 29th to May 21st. Tickets at fifthavenue.org.
The thing about Blue Cone is I never wanted it to be a space where artists just come in and have their own little box and don't relate with each other. Sure. You know, like I've always been very collaborative, community interested, like, hey, let's do a bigger project. Let's do something that we can all be a part of. I think I've always just wanted to make art with other people. Mm-hmm.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Morning Update Show. I'm your co-host, Trey Holiday, and joining me right now on set is Norman Garrett. What's up, Norman?
Hello. I'm glad to be here.
Yeah, we're so glad to have you. I mean, you know what? This is something very special and unique for us right here at Converge, because we really get to now showcase to our audience and to Black community that we're involved in all forms of the arts. Tell us a bit about your start in opera.
Let's just say there was music in my family, but my dad, he was a pastor. He told me not to sing because I didn't have a gospel voice. I wanted to be an engineer since I was 5 years old. And I got to college. I went to Texas Tech University, and I also got accepted into UT. Now, Texas Tech, I was accepted on a choir scholarship. And I was only in choir because my boys and I decided that's the place where there's going to be a lot of girls. That's the only reason why. But I was accepted in UT's engineering program for the next year, and I was just going to go to Texas Tech to get my basics out of the way before I transferred for engineering at UT. And at the end, like the last month of my freshman year at Texas Tech, we did a Brahms Requiem, which is this gigantic piece. Everyone in the entire music school who played an instrument was in the orchestra. There were 500 people in this big choir singing. And I remember in the second movement of it, hearing the music, feeling vibrations in my chest because it was just so many. You could feel it. It was such an overwhelming power in that music to where I was like, maybe I'll try this. It was that sudden. It was that sudden. And, the rest is history. Went to grad school, Cincinnati, went to Academy of Vocal Arts in Philly, young artist at Washington National Opera. And there I'm here.
Wow.
Yeah.
Norman, I mean, this is really, there's, I think, always so many unique characteristics to everyone's story, right? Like what gets you sparked, what allows you to continue. But, to hear that there are programs really for you to hone in on that talent that you have and to hone in and then learn the difference between, being in a choir and performing in the opera. Tell us a bit about that transition for you.
It was... I would say, since it was such an impulsive decision, the transition to me was, I was pretty oblivious when it was happening because, it was choir. That was it. Operas were like a side thing to do at Texas Tech, but I was there for choir. And it wasn't until I graduated and I was like, it was like a year before I was done. And I was like, so guys, what do we do next? Because, this is something I had never planned for. And they were like, oh, you go to grad school. And I was like, which ones? And they listed these grad schools and I auditioned those grad schools and I got into these grad schools. So then I get to the grad school, which was University of Cincinnati, the Conservatory of Music there. And I'm there and I'm singing. My voice teacher reworks my voice and like changes it. So essentially, I had about 2 years there where I wasn't really doing anything because I was just trying to get this together. And then it was finally my third year of my master's. I was Van Wilder. Everything took longer. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm almost done with this degree and I haven't been taking this serious at all. And it's time to jump. It's time to make the leap. And basically that's happened twice in my career where you go from that transition from school to then semi-professional and then to professional. And every one of those times I had to like gather myself and get serious because I feel like I never realized the potential that I had or the talent that I had until way later. It was just something I was just kind of floating by and doing. So while that transitioning was happening from choir to opera to professional opera singer, I was kind of like in the back seat, I feel like, in a weird way. I was kind of like going with this flow of wherever it was taking me. And that also helped me I was always the most relaxed opera singer because, I wasn't all caught up in the hype and stuff. So I just kind of like drifted into this career and have finally started to, get some success and do some things projects that I really want to do. But the process for others can be super stressful. And, I can't say I didn't have any like dark times, some difficult times. There were times where I was like a 3-year period where I was eating peanut butter and bread, living in Philadelphia in an apartment I couldn't afford, a lot of people have that story, but mine in particular, it's never a straight line. I was coasting, but it was like this, but Christine Schepelman, who is the director of Seattle Opera, actually hired me as a young artist when she was at Washington National Opera. That was my first professional like young artist program. So it's kind of cool to be back in Seattle and she's here now after being all over the world and now she's here. So it's always good to see her face.
Well, I feel like I always say this when I'm able to speak to artists in particular, that every form of art basically creates its own family, right? And so, you're working with other opera singers in shows. You are, traveling. You now have this litany, right, from school to opera, like you just said, and on the transition in between, you're building like family. You're building relationships with other people. So how is it to be here in this amazing show, Marriage of Figaro, and working alongside some amazing, opera singers right here in Seattle?
It honestly feels, I mean, first of all, I really like the city. I love the weather. People talk about it being gray all the time. I'm loving it. It's no sun, cool, rainy. I'll take it all day. But it feels really good. And, I feel very welcome here. I felt really welcomed by the company. And this project, Marriage of Figaro, is actually my first time doing this opera, and it's something that I've always wanted to do. And interesting enough, this role, is not, being a Black man singing this role to me means something. I'll just put it that way. It's interesting the way the opera world works and how it's changing now, but I feel a lot more appreciated. I feel like my talent is a lot more appreciated. And I feel like I'm being seen. I feel like I'm being heard. And it's something that's a new feeling, actually, that I've right.
Well, I was going to say, you
It's
literally
new.
are answering my next question, because that is it. I mean, we're talking about opera, right?
Right.
And Black community is probably like, well, opera's not for me. That's like a completely white space. We here at Converge, and I was saying this to you before, it's so great to have you here, because you really get to help us break the mold of what people think opera is. And so
Right.
I was going to be asking you about that, because, as you've probably experienced in your career, and as you say, with this iconic show, this is one of those top-notch
It
operas.
is.
I keep hearing about Marriage of Figaro being, the costumes,
Bread
the
and butter.
music, everything. It is top-notch. So I know this is really important to you, but you're not just, in the cast, you're playing a lead role here. Count Amaviva. Tell
Yes.
us about this role, and for you to be able to get this opportunity, I think, as maybe some young Black men that may be in the audience, young Black boys, to see themselves in you. Tell us about what that means to you.
Oh man. I will say, when I was working in Washington, D.C., that was the most diverse opera crowd that I've ever seen.
Wow.
That scene in Washington, D.C., the Black culture is so integrated into everything, including the opera. So, coming here, I'm not sure. I don't know what this audience is like, but I do think it's very important to have representation of yourself when you're looking on any stage, when you're looking on TV, when you're listening to a podcast. Like, I feel like it is crucially important. And in that, I feel like I'm an ambassador. I feel like I am, it's hard to, it could be sad to feel this way, but I feel like it is my responsibility in a way to represent my culture and to set an example for others. I feel some weight with that. And I think it's important. I think the role I'm playing is also really important in young people developing. And it's like you said, you look on the stage at this Mozart opera, and you see a man of color up there singing, doing his thing, a lead role, Count Almaviva, of course.
Hey.
And it feels like I have a deeper role to play than just that role on the stage.
Yeah.
And I'm aware of that. And it feels empowering in a way,
It really is. I'll
Yeah.
tell you, just for me, I'm definitely making time in my calendar to come and see you. This is something that I would love to bring my sons to, right? To expose them to something that is different, yet also is now really working, I think, intentionally on inclusivity, which is so important to the arts in general. It makes them better, right? And so we talk about that in terms of, art really reflecting the country we live in, where we have people from all over the world coming here to America to either better their lives or their situation, whatever it is, but they see America as a beacon. And how do we really reflect that in our arts community if we're not including diversity? So I really am so excited to see you. As you think about this amazing show, what do you want people to get from this show? Just give us a quick synopsis so people understand what they're coming to see.
I would say this show is an example of. It is an example. I would say the show is an example of the hierarchy being disrupted by. It's interesting enough. My character is He thinks he's the smartest guy in the room. He's not. But he's upper class and everyone else is lower class. So he always has this feeling that he's better than everyone and that he can do whatever he wants. And the people, Figaro, his wife, they have other things in mind because they're smarter than me. They're more influential than I am. And, you know, they end up coming out on top at the end. They disrupt the hierarchy. And, you know, I feel like that's something that's happening all over the country right now.
Yeah,
it's
really
including Africa Town. Yeah. What? Wow, I'm like, my mind is blown. It is amazing to me.
Well, I'm so glad that we can show you that clip, and this is how we're getting down in Seattle. There's a lot of amazing Black leaders, organizations, and institutions that are doing exactly that. They're disrupting the hierarchy. We are showcasing what it means to have collective voice. And I'm telling you, Norman, I'm just so grateful that you took time out of your busy schedule to join us today. As our audience out there is probably trying to figure it out, I know Salman is putting the link in the comments, but tell them how they can come and see you and support this amazing show happening at the Seattle Opera.
Just go to seattleopera.com or org, seattleopera.org, click on buy your tickets and come see us. Yeah.
Norman, thank you so much. I can't wait to come and see you and to see the rest of the cast. Again, iconic show, top-notch opera, top-notch costumes. I can't wait to see you in your garb.
My costume is incredible, y'all. And don't get me started on my wig, y'all. My wig is silky. You know what I'm saying? It's nice. It's nice.
Well, you came through nice and sharp today, getting us prepared to see you as Count Amaviva. Thank you again, Norman, so much. I wish I had even more time because I know we could dive into so many things, but we just appreciate you for joining us right here at the Black Media Matters Studios for Converge Media. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me, y'all.
Absolutely. Oh, amazing. I'm telling you. And if I wasn't going to another amazing guest, I would keep on talking to Norman. But up next, we have Miss Vivian Phillips in the building, icon in Seattle, doing amazing things. We're going to be talking about all things doors after this short break. Stay tuned. You're watching the Morning Update Show.
When COVID first hit, I was very afraid. There was so much things that I had to keep inside because I didn't know where to place my feelings. Most of my information for COVID is from my own research. I'm a doctor in educational leadership. And when the FDA approved Pfizer, it helped me realize that the vaccination is healthy. We don't want to be left behind because we're not taking the vaccine, but we want to get as much information as possible so that we are putting ourselves in better hands and not at great risk.
The breathtaking new musical, Afterwards, is the story of the art we make from the love that shapes us. When three women discover unexpected truths, a dazzling mosaic of intersecting lives reveals itself. Featuring a revelatory and soulful new score. Don't miss the world premiere of this captivating new musical, Afterwards, at the Fifth Avenue Theater, April 29th to May 21st. Tickets at fifthavenue.org.
Hey guys, Besa Gordon here, and before heading to Belize, Trey Holiday and I had to make sure we linked up with our good friends over at Market Street Shoes to, of course, grab a few things for the trip. From bags to socks, shoes, sunglasses, earrings, and more. Before going on any trip, make sure you stop at Market Street Shoes. Trust me, you'll find just what you need to make your trip not only enjoyable, but fashionable.
The thing about Blue Cone is I never wanted it to be a space where artists just come in and have their own little box and don't relate with each other.
Sure.
You know, like I've always been very collaborative, community interested, like, hey, let's do a bigger project. Let's do something that we can all be a part of. I think I've always just wanted to make art with other people.
Mm-hmm.
The truth with proof, the truth with proof. If you nice with the sports, then he swooping through. He gon' highlight you. Ain't nobody live like us, fly like us. We gon' find you, put the city behind you. Let us know you got skills, we gon' be at a game. In the Northwest, we reppin' the city where it rains.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Morning Update Show. I'm your co-host, Trey Holiday, and joining me right now, y'all don't even know, I'm over here fangirling out Vivian Phillips in the building. What's up? Oh,
Hey,
how are you?
Talk about fangirl. And listen, I was at Seattle Opera yesterday, and this poster is all over the outside with this incredibly handsome Black man on it. And I guess his name is Norman Garrett.
You came on the
Marriage
right
of
day.
Figaro. What about Marriage of Auntie Viv? Girl, I was over there like, okay. Okay.
Look, you came on the right day.
I came on the right day.
You never know what you're going to encounter here in the Black Media Matter studio. But you know what? You are doing so many phenomenal things. I love how Omari prefaced it earlier. You know, we're talking about, okay, the MC of Doors. No way. So many different amazing titles behind you and your legacy. Thank you for joining me today.
Thank you for inviting me.
Absolutely.
It's always a pleasure to be here.
Absolutely.
I love me some Treyana Holiday and some Omari Salisbury.
Come on. We love you. And you know what? This is really exciting because STG has been such a phenomenal partner of ours. Tell us about your connection to STG.
Well, you know, my connection to Seattle Theater Group goes back to 1992, 93. I worked on the restoration of the Paramount Theater. And back then, I think there were 7 of us on the staff. And I have been involved with that organization in some capacity on the board. I spent 6 years as their director of marketing and communications. And this is my 3rd time emceeing Doors.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm excited. You know, I invited myself, right?
I know that's
I was like,
right.
Smokey Robinson is coming. Y'all need me there, right?
Well, look, and they probably had no objection at all because you are phenomenal. And so, you know, this is something that is annual for SDG.
Right.
Obviously, they have a lot of continual supporters, right? Folks that are just always giving. But tell us a bit about what this means to you to now be emceeing this for the 3rd year and to kind of see how they really have now really embed themselves in community. That was something that we got to learn while we were there at the Paramount Theater doing the morning update show from there. They were talking about, no, we're intentional to include our community and let them know this is their home. Tell us a little bit about how you experienced that.
So, you know, I worked with the founder of the organization back in the 90s. And when she purchased the Paramount Theater, her intention was to make that a place that we call the People's Theater. It is a grand movie palace built in 1928. And back then, people could spend essentially 50 cents or a quarter and come to a vaudeville show, get dressed up, feel like royalty. So she wanted that to be maintained in the organization. All of these community engagement programs started with her founding in some capacity. So the way that they have evolved has become really wonderful. Broadway inclusion programs. You know, I went to see Hamilton like 5 times while it was at the Paramount. But the one thing that I remember most is the sensory performance where all the kids were in the theater. The lights were not completely out, they were dimmed. It was a warm and welcoming environment for the kids to enjoy the production. Same thing for Lion King. One of the community engagement programs that I'm most inclined toward is Alvin Ailey or Ailey Camp, right? Ailey Camp was founded a number of years ago while I was still at the organization. And it was founded in honor of Ailey's general manager prior, who is Calvin Hunt, who came from Tacoma. Calvin died right before Ailey Camp got started. And so it is in homage to his contribution and his relationship to this community that that program was instituted. So what I know about the Seattle Theater Group, what I know about the intention of the founding of this community organization, which happens to be the largest performing arts institution in the Puget Sound region, I know that it's an organization that deserves to be supported. And I know that they are intentional always about the ways in which they show up in community. Having Converge Media be a partner now is really a wonderful expression as well of their commitment to community. I know that you've been in the theater. When you go into the lobby bar, you see Redefinition, which is a community art gallery that was intentionally formed so that we could redefine what cultural space looks like and to whom it belongs. cause. So those are the ways and the reasons that I think this organization should be supported. The last time that I MC, we raised $1.3 million, I think, in that evening. So I know this is the first time back in person in 2 years. I'm hopeful, I'm so hopeful that we can hit that $1 million mark again. And if I can do something to help that happen, I'm there. But Smokey Robinson is there too. So that's another good reason to be there, right?
Yeah, a legend in the build. This is really going to be so special for me. And the fact that, this is the first year that we've been able to partner with STG in this way, it's just going to be so special for all of us here at Converge already. For me in particular, I always say this: I was a thespian, a theater kid,
That's
right?
right.
So,
Yeah.
so being able to interview people coming, to the theater, all of these amazing actors, amazing performers. This is really exciting for me, not just because Smokey Robinson is going to be there or because you're emceeing, but I agree with you in terms of why this organization needs to be supported. And I'm experiencing their intentionality of connection to community. So I love how you just highlighted so many other programs, because I think oftentimes people don't realize how many different things are going on. But SCG is also connected to Northwest Tap Connection. I mean,
thank you for bringing that up.
They do a lot of great work beyond just putting on these amazing shows.
Northwest Tap Connection will be featured at doors. There will also be performances from youth who are involved with More Music at the More, which is a music training program that allows young high schoolers the opportunity to work with songwriters and mentors and performers. Some of the mentors have been, Ernestine Anderson was one of the mentors for More Music for a very long time, but their music conductors have spanned the spectrum. Robert Glasper, Michelle Ndegeocello, Sheila E. All of these people have come to this organization to work with these young people. I'm also really excited by a performance from Abraham in Motion, Kyle Abraham's dance company. And Kyle Abraham's company performed at the Moore Theater in February. And I love this man so much. I love his company. I love the work that they do. And it's going to be a fabulous evening. It's going to be fun. I'm excited to be back on stage at the Paramount Theater. I've been on that stage hundreds of times, over the course of the last 30 years, but I get really excited about this particular event and seeing the community come out and support this organization.
Well, I gotta say, they got the right woman for the job. You're talking about, not only your personal experience, but how you've been able to really see their intentionality. I think is so, so key. So please make sure our audience knows how they can come to doors. That is happening soon. Please, right there,
go to stgpresents.org and buy a ticket, or buy some tickets. If you can't come, buy tickets and sponsor other people that can come. I think that's one of the elements that I really encourage people. If you cannot on your own come to the event, why not purchase a ticket and make that available for someone else in the community who can come? So I will see you on Saturday night in the house, in my house.
Yes,
I call it my house.
I know,
the
that's
Paramount
right.
Theater.
I know
It's all of ours.
It really is.
Yeah.
And the Queens of Converge will actually be there for afterwards. And so then we'll be there again in the evening. I'm really looking forward to an amazing day at the Paramount. Thank you so much, Miss Vivian Phillips, for joining me today.
My pleasure. Thank you so much.
Oh my gosh. Hey, you guys, we don't disappoint over here at Converge Media and the Black Media Matter Studios. We told you we were going to have an amazing show, and I really hope that you guys were inspired and encouraged and felt the vibes and the energy that's happening over here. Of course, tomorrow we got some of our recurring guests coming through. We got Mr. Mike Davis of the South Seattle Emerald. He'll be joining us tomorrow. We're going to be talking about all things clapback culture and anything going on with South Seattle Emerald. And also we have Brian Callanan of Seattle News, Views, and Brews right here on Converge Media, and also the Seattle channel. Brian is always going to be bringing us some heavy topics. We got to dive into it, Brian, see what they're talking about on Seattle News, Views, and Brews. And tonight at 8:30, You guys can check out my brother Proof in the Play with Truth with Proof. He is going to be having some guests on tonight at 8:30. And apparently I keep missing all the good fun. I mean, Salman is like, it be popping over here at 8:30. You know, by that point, I'm almost in the bed. But I got to say that I'm so proud of you, Proof, because you really had this concept for such a long time. And now we're all seeing you flourish in your purpose, brother. It's just amazing for me to be able to witness. So please join us tonight at 8:30. And of course, for me, see yourself as a part of the solution. You guys can do it in so many different ways. I always want you to be inspired by our guests. Clearly, Norman has done it in the way of just breaking the opera. This Black man with this amazing lead role, probably one of the first times a Black man has played this role. I don't have the quote on that, but I'm just going to put it out there because it is traditionally a white space when we're talking about opera. And so he's doing it in a way that is not only fulfilling to him, but now is just so fulfilling to others to ensure that they understand that the opera is also inclusive. And also Miss Vivian Phillips, I mean, we're talking about 30 years in arts and culture and such a thriving force here for us in the Pacific Northwest and beyond, who is going to be emceeing doors and really supporting Seattle Theater Group, which is an organization that could totally benefit from another one of your opportunities to give big on this Tuesday. Saturday, Smokey Robinson will be in the building. If you guys try to get tickets, I'm gonna tell you right now, it's gonna be a hot show. She just explained it to us. Not only is it a fundraiser, but we're gonna be entertained for sure. So please, for me, see yourself as a part of the solution. Get out there and make sure that you guys are contributing to new solutions in your community, your neighborhood, your city, your state. However big you want to go, you can do it. And as Omari would say, go forward in your purpose. Go forward in your humanity. Until tomorrow at 11 a.m. Peace.
What do I see through a lens of fear? 1,000 little steps to go. What do I fear after all these years? Lord knows I don't even know. I've been running on the edge of a sundial, sleeping in the shadow. I've been begging you to see me, then hiding beyond the unreachable. Looking out left on a right-hand turn, just trying to make a deal. Lazy shoes and love is a love that turn. That's the kind of food that heals. I've been searching for the end of an era, waiting to be ready. The world is bigger than a moment. Be steady, that's how you can feel it's real. But I feel naked in my new clothes, 'cause I got used to hiding the holes. This old world got new tricks and I'm in the thick of it. This I swear I'm already sick of it. At least I found the antidote. Oh. I know no one is a shadow. 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 I know no one